I think what's interesting is that, like, we're talking about John Wick and how Gladiator is different. I think one of the ways that Gladiator is different is they portray the thing that makes John Wick unique, his revenge killing spree, his lack of care for
Right.
anything or anything else. They make that a flaw within Maximus, and they make it a
Hmm.
flaw that is, in a sense, beaten out of him almost throughout the movie. And they start before the turning point, because for John Wick, the turning point is the dog dying. For
Hmm.
Maximus, the turning point is his basically a father figure being murdered, a usurper taking that person's place, and then that usurper trying to kill him and succeeding at killing his family and destroying everything he knows and loves.
Hmm.
And so Maximus has this time in the movie where he does not care. He will not fight back. He just kind of sits around, and then when he does fight back, he's just disgusted at what he sees because he
Hmm.
knows that this is not the Rome that Marcus Aurelius saw. And again, this is his father figure. And so there's like this element where he is slowly going through this transformative journey to where he starts to, one, realize he actually does have power, and
Right.
two, he decides what he wants to do with that power. And so at first, he just wanted to kill Commodus. And you have that scene when Commodus comes out to meet him and he picks up the spearhead or the arrowhead, I think.
Hmm.
And that's all he cares about. He just wants to kill Commodus. And that's like that great line when he says he will have his vengeance.
Right. Exactly.
But it transforms from just a revenge story to a redemption story where his desires and his wants and the thing driving him transcends just his own personal goals. And it's now about why did Marcus Aurelius put so much faith in me? What did he want to see done? What is actually going to be for the betterment of Rome as a whole? Is it just going to be killing this guy and waiting for the next tyrant to take his place? Or is it going to be to actually change the governmental structure and the system we have in place? And so I think the big contrast between John Wick and Gladiator, and where Gladiator really shines through, is it's not just a revenge killing story in which the main character abandons his revenge at the end of the movie and just walks away. It is a
Hmm.
story in which he completely abandons the revenge aspect, so to speak, for a higher calling, in essence. And I mean, I guess you could say
Right.
he gets
Right.
his revenge because he kills Commodus, but it's almost like that happens in spite of it.
Right. Well, his grand plan doesn't work, and that was the big thing that beats him down. Um, and it was, I mean, we'll get to the end in a bit, but the other thing, I mean, because when you're looking at his motives, right, you hit a lot of it on the head, where he's has this calling placed on him to lead the people of Rome away from the corruption that they've seen in the Senate, in the empire, especially with the coming emperor who is completely corrupt, Commodus, that
Yeah.
they need to move away from that. And that's what Marcus Aurelius is seeing. And he sees the mob, the people who are this destructive force, and how they need to be directed in the right way. And so he has this calling and he rejects it, right? And you get this sentiment from him at the beginning of the movie with Marcus Aurelius, where he goes, I serve you because you are my lord and master, and you've called upon me to serve you. But at the end of the day, I just want to be with my family, take care of my farm, and do my thing, right?
Yeah.
And then he has that discussion soon afterwards with Cicero, his accomplice, his friend, where he basically Cicero says something along the lines of, "I do what I have to do, and then I do what I want to do, and I don't try to go beyond that." And that's
Yeah.
the sentiment that he plays out, and that's kind of the sentiment that Maximus has at the beginning of the movie, where he cares about people, he tries to do the right thing, but at the end of the day, he's only doing what he is obligated to do. He doesn't feel a calling to take care of the rest of the people of Rome, right? The people of Rome are not
Yeah.
his responsibility. And I mean, what's great about this movie, and I think this is a great idea across most movies, is it's not just about the action, right? It's not just about the the people doing different things. It's about what are the ideas presented, right? And this movie was very good at taking concepts and ideas around what people would discuss about what people ought to do, and then portraying that through the actions of these characters. So these people are having very real discussions about what is right, what is wrong, what is my responsibility, what is the responsibility of leaders, what is justice, what is mercy, things like that. And these are all played out in these characters' lives. And that helps add to the flavor of these movies because these are real struggles that people are dealing with. And you see that in Maximus at the beginning of the movie, especially where he's having this mental struggle of who he should be, and by the end of the movie, you very much see that idea that he takes on the responsibility of caring for the people of Rome.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference between John Wick and Gladiator is that one is, in a sense, it's senseless violence. And they try
Mhm.
to put a purpose on the violence and they try to put sense to the movie. But it's very, very much not well thought through. And at best, it's not a very deep plot. It's very basic, it's very simple, and it's very obvious if you're being honest with yourself that the plot itself comes secondary to the real purpose of the movie, which is just to show murder and bloodshed. And I mean,
Right.
if that's what you want to go watch, then sure, go watch that. But don't don't say that you're going to watch it because it's a good movie. Say you're going to go watch it because you want to see the fight scenes and you want to see people get shot up and you want to see Keanu Reeves killing a bunch of people. Like that's the appeal of that movie. And be honest about it. But like the appeal of Gladiator is not simply the bloodshed. Like yeah, there are gladiatorial fights, and yeah, they are like super cool. Like I think
Right.
I'm trying to remember the one fight. I can't think of it right now. But there are multiple. As he's moving up through the ranks, getting finally to the Colosseum within Rome. Um, but throughout the rest of the movie as well, there's like little spurts, and also the beginning of the movie too. But a lot of the movie is also the dialogue, and there's a lot of downtime, and there's a lot of scheming, and so there's a lot of character
Hmm.
building going on within that. Whereas John Wick is just a bloodfest the entire time.
Right. Well, inherent in this is, even though, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because Maximus falls to nothing in this movie.
Yeah,
He's really just a slave, and at the same time he's dealing with these ideas of responsibility of who he ought to be, and that's contrasted with Commodus's idea of responsibility and what he thinks it is to lead the people of Rome. And those are
yeah,
very different ideas of what it looks like. And so part of the whole reason that they come into conflict and you see the gladiatorial games is because is because Commodus sees his responsibility of the people is feeding them this bloodlust that they desire, right? He is giving them the John Wick experience that they want and giving them the carnal bloodlust rather than leading them down a path that makes them a better nation. And
yeah,
so, or a better empire. And so the contrast there is a very palpable part of it too. And that's in some ways a maybe I guess a contrast, a ding against John Wick